The OSS Helix, let's check it out. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the suppressor, the advantages, the disadvantages, and I'm really going to Robbie's going to help me. We're going to talk about some of the things, the integral parts, the way suppressors kind of work. What is the big advantage with this one? And for one thing, it is just a unibody. It's a one piece, it's welded, and so it's a no maintenance suppressor.
Yep. It's like a lot of your rifle suppressors that are out there today. A lot of the rifle suppressors they're sealed units where you can't take them apart. And that's to prevent anything from coming loose with it and ending having a baffle strike with the suppressor when you're shooting it.
Yeah, and I think the originals, they came in separate pieces.
They did.
So, it kind of pulled apart. This way, it's just one piece. Because suppressors are inherently pretty dirty because they're pushing the gas back. And one of the things about this suppressor, it has that flow-through technology. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But one of the things that OSS recommends is that you actually pre-soak this in CLP, and that way it'll kind of coat, and it just helps it for that buildup not to occur, and so that's one thing. And then cleaning it, same thing. Just put it in a bath of CLP, and that will dissolve a lot of things. So it's not that you can't clean it.
Right. It can be cleaned, like you were saying. Soak it in CLP for about a day, 24 hours or so. Take it out, drain it, and then anything left in it, you can shoot it out.
Now, it does come in this box. Of course, it is the Helix OSS. We have foam padding on either side. It's nestled right in here. And it does have a owner's manual, and there's just a lot of details in here about different care and maintenance and different things like that. But we'll go through that. Now, the HX QD, and this is the 7.62, they do make it in a 5.56. They also make it in a titanium. The outer body, again, is welded, so this is a one-piece deal. It's 17.4 stainless steel. The coils are titanium that are inside, but they do make a titanium model, like I said as well. Really lightens the weight. This is 19.3 ounces, and it's 7.6 inches in length. It's 1.6 inches in width. Has the C-Series high-temp Cerakote finish, and of course you're going to need that, especially when you fire a lot of rounds through this. Here we have your direct impingement gas system. Of course you have your gas block, you have your gas tube, and the way it works. Robbie, tell us a little bit, being a Class 3 dealer, having a lot of experience with suppressors, what is it that this does that has an advantage over your typical suppressor?
So the biggest advantage with this suppressor over a lot of your traditional suppressors that are out there is with the flow-through technology. And what the flow-through technology does is basically it allows all of the high-pressure gas to stay in the can instead of blowing back down your barrel and back down your gas tube. A traditional suppressor, you get a lot of blowback down the barrel, you get a lot of blowback down the gas tube. It increases your bolt velocity, it increases the recoil of the rifle because you're increasing the speed of the bolt. And with this suppressor, it keeps all of the gas in the suppressor itself instead of blowing it all back down the barrel.
And that kind of comes out of the front here, right?
It does, yeah. It's got a ring of holes around the front to help bleed off some of the low pressure gas, and then your hole in the center as well to bleed gas off at a slower rate than with a traditional suppressor, which just dumps everything out the center hole.
Now, of course, a lot of gases are coming back. One of the things that you've mentioned is being left-handed.
Yep.
What is it that you encounter as a left-handed shooter?
Being a left-handed shooter or shooting a rifle with your support side, if you're right-handed, one of the things that you're going to notice running most traditional suppressors on your rifle is a ton of gas blowback in your face. And you get a lot of gas blowback out of the ejection port area here. You get some more blowback out of the charging handle area. And it's to the point so bad sometimes that you get your eye tears up, and you end up stopping shooting because the gas is so bad.
Right. I've done that before. Even right-handed shooting.
Even right-handed, exactly. But for a left-handed person, it's even worse because your eye's almost in line with this ejection port right here, and it just blows it right back in your face.
Right.
So not comfortable at all. And one of the things I really liked with the OSS suppressor is it keeps all of the gas forward in the can. You don't get all of that tremendous back pressure like you do with a traditional can, blowing gas back down the barrel and back down the gas tube. So it minimizes that gas that comes back, and you can stand outside and shoot that one all day long. It was a super pleasant can to shoot on a semi-automatic rifle, especially for a left-handed person.
It really was. It really was. And really, I mean, the length, it doesn't add a lot to this firearm. And I think, even with maybe a shorter barrel, it could go into the, of course, you have to have a wider forearm.
Yeah, a larger handguard, and you could reflex it down inside the handguard and keep it even shorter. So with a lot of your standard suppressors, companies have created Band-Aid fixes for the high pressure gas. You've got your adjustable gas block to try and reduce some of the gas into the receiver area and back into the shooter's face. There's the gas buster charging handles, again, to reduce the amount of gas you get back in your face. Not really a whole lot that you can do about the gas that comes back down the barrel, which is where the majority of the high pressure gas comes from on the majority of suppressors. So there's not a whole lot you can do about that. That gas is just there. One of the big things you notice with a lot of suppressed rifles, you shoot 2 or 3 rounds and take your magazine out, and the rest of your ammunition in your magazine is almost black from all the carbon buildup being blown back down the barrel and into your magazine.
Well, and the bolt just gets super dirty.
It does.
This whole area right here.
Yep.
And so, there are ways to fix the different type suppressors, but if you've got all that gas coming back anyway, it's just a Band-Aid, like you were saying earlier.
Just a Band-Aid. And with the OSS Helix suppressor, we didn't experience any of that. We didn't get the gas back down, the overpressure gas down the gas tube. We didn't get the huge amount of gas back down the barrel. We didn't get the rounds in the magazine being turned black after just a couple of shots. So minimal carbon fouling in the receiver area, which is going to keep your gun cleaner. Your gun's going to run longer without having to be lubricated and cleaned.
Right.
So a lot of really big benefits to this suppressor.
Right. Now this is a 300 blackout, and we have the 7.62 adapter, and of course they make them for the 5.56. And then of course this is actually the opposite, so it's left-hand threads, and so let's see if we can put it on here. Now, one of the things about this suppressor, and it's that way with some, is you don't really have to put this on super tight, because when you fire the rifle or the pistol, it'll actually torque it down and tighten it up. One of the dangers is if you shoot a lot of rounds through it, it can kind of seize up, that carbon seizing. And so you just want to be careful to make sure, that you kind of every once in a while loosen that up. And of course you got to make sure you do it the right direction. Now there are some flats right here that you can take a wrench if it gets too tight, and you're able to, break that. Now you have your ports here, but you have this step. And this is going to keep a lot of the debris and the gases from getting down into your threads. I mean, you'll get some, but that's going to be a nice little step to be able to protect them. One of the things that OSS claims is the reduction in the decibels is down to about 138 up to about 140 decibels.
Yeah, I think it was 133 to 138 or something like that, but under 140 decibels, which is supposed to be hearing safe.
Right.
And when we took it out and shot it, we shot it with subsonic 300 blackout, we shot it with supersonic 300 blackout, and we shot it with 5.56, all without hearing protection on. And the can's got a really good tone to it. It's got a really good sound to it with subsonics and supersonics. So I was very impressed with the tone and the sound of the suppressor.
Now, because the gases are being pushed forward, you're going to get a little more noise typically out than you are back here. And so that's actually going to be better for the shooter, but of course it's going to make some noise. Now in 308, you're definitely going to get quite a bit more noise than you would with 300, even supersonic.
Yeah, definitely a different tone with 308 versus 300 blackout with subs or supers. But because of the way that it moves the gas out in front of you, instead of all of the gas staying right there at the gun, it's still the sound that you perceived at your ear is a lot quieter than firing it without a suppressor on it.
Right, definitely.
Very easy to install. It is left-hand thread. Once you get it down, just give it a good tight squeeze and you're ready to go.
All right, we have some Fiocchi. This is the subsonic. It's the 220 grain. We're going to shoot some of it, and we're also going to go ahead and shoot the sonic, the supersonic at 150 grain, just to kind of get a little bit of a sound difference. And I want to thank Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo, and they're all made right here in the USA. Oh yeah, baby!
First round in the rifle is subsonic, and then the rest of them are going to be supersonic. We can kind of see if we can hear a little difference between the two.
Definitely some difference.
Yeah, but still it's kind of back here in the trees. You hear the crack of the bullet back here toward the berm, but at the gun it's not bad at all.
All right, we're going to shoot 5 rounds of subsonic without the suppressor. Then we're going to shoot 5 rounds with supersonic without the suppressor.
All right, so now we're going to shoot 5 rounds of supersonic and then 5 rounds of subsonic.
I mean, there's definitely a difference. Now, with the camera buffering the sound, sometimes you won't hear it.
Yeah.
But could you tell the difference?
Oh yeah, huge difference. Huge difference.
Yeah. So just that subsonic's already, well, it's not breaking the sound barrier.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to get that crack.
Right. You're not getting the supersonic crack of the projectile.
But it's still not quite enough to go without ear protection.
Oh no. No, you definitely still need hearing protection. So suppressor makes a big difference on it, especially a little short gun like this with subs and supers.
Now, that's true. That is a short barrel on top of that.
Yep.
Beautiful. The sound of silence. And frogs. Now, they do make a number of different suppressors, but this one is the most versatile.
It is.
So it'll go, well, now you talked about 22 is really a no-go.
Yeah, you don't want to shoot 22 rimfire through a sealed suppressor. 22 rimfire is really dirty, and you'll end up leading the inside of the can, and it's almost impossible to clean it out without being able to disassemble the can. So this can's designed for 5.56 up to 300 Win Mag, and it's full auto rated for 5.56. So, stay away from the rimfire stuff with it, but anything 5.56 and larger up to 300 Win Mag is good to go in it.
Just make sure you get the right adapter. Like we have, this is the 30 caliber adapter. We have the 5.56 adapter on the other, and it's actually a different configuration.
It is a little different. It looks a little different. Still mounts the same, but you can look at the two and see some differences between them.
Right. Now again, OSS Suppressors offers a number of different models, and they start out around $879 full retail. The model we're showing here retails for $999. And of course, there are other resources that you can find, probably market price, that may be less. Check out OSSSuppressors.com for more information, and I want to thank Randy over at OSS Suppressors for sending the Helix 7.62 for this test and evaluation, and for their patience, because this review has taken a good while to finish. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Beautiful. Now, Robbie, one of the things you mentioned, you're about to think I'm pointing at you. Because Robbie's a bit taller, bigger. They think that sometimes that I'm pointing the gun at him when I'm pointing in this direction.
Even right there in the camera, it looks like it's pointed at me.
Yeah. We're not pointing this at Robbie. He's just a big bear.
He's
and I'm
bulletproof
a little
anyway.
munchkin. Now, one of the things about having, okay, now they do offer the HX.
He does look like this in his hand.
I just know the camera's going. I am not.
I knew it.
Was I doing that?
No,
Okay.
he didn't get it earlier.
As long as I'm not, I wasn't doing that.
No, you didn't get it earlier.